This is kind of surreal right now. It's cool to like see you through this virtual setting.
Yeah, I think the whole thing's weird for everybody, kind of.
Yeah,
The whole thing that's going on and everything.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Let me let me just introduce you to the people real quick. Let people know who you are. So,
Okay.
everybody listening, this is one of the great men in my life that like taught me so much and helped like mold me into this person that I am, as well as like so many other people throughout many generations. This is Coach Ron Wilson, and he was my high school wrestling coach. Thank you for being here, dude. It's an honor. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sure. My honor to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wanna get into it, or you wanna catch up a little bit, or how it's
Yeah,
pretty
we
go
can
with the
catch up
flow?
first. We can catch
Yeah.
up first. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's retirement going?
Oh, it's going really well. Actually been retired for 3 years, and I just retired from coaching recently. But I'm still going to help out other programs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I can never get out of it because I've done wrestling since I was 11 years old. So you can never get out of it completely.
Yeah, I feel you. It's party.
Yeah, it's part of my DNA now and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know, life has been like pretty dynamic for me lately. It's been I've been like making money editing videos. So that's been
Uh-huh.
pretty tight. Yeah. And then just like I don't know, like connecting with a lot of creative people, and I work for a commercial sound mixer. So it's cool to
Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's cool to like be around these like high performance people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, down in Hollywood or?
No, they're here in Camarillo, but yeah, they work in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. How about have you been like staying active, like working out and stuff, or
No, not really. It's just been kind of like, the COVID thing keeps you inside and stuff like that. So I haven't really done too much. I haven't really been out active or anything at all, to be
yeah.
honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing like prison workouts, just like like push-ups, sit-ups here at home, or like I have a sack full of books that I'm just like doing curls with.
Present workouts. That sounds good. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Do you have any questions for me, or
No, not really. I mean, you've kind of covered a lot of what's going on with you,
yeah?
you know, that kind of thing. So,
Mm. Yeah. So Zach actually is asking this one. I hit up a couple of friends to be like, yo, I'm interviewing, I'm like podcasting with Coach Wilson. Like, what do I do? So yeah, Zach is asking this one. Have
mhm.
you have you seen improvements over the years in the way we deal with racial inequality? And I thought it was interesting just because you have a very unique like
Yeah,
position.
situation, right?
Yeah.
Improvements? No, not really. I think it's actually gotten worse. And I'd say this. I think it's because of the people at the top have a tendency of not caring about anyone, but certain people. So it's kind of filtered down. Like I think before, people with their racism, it was more like they're more like cockroaches. Cockroaches, they're hidden. But now, because the last 3 years, things have come out. Like during the Obama era, people, they may have been racist, but you didn't hear much about it because they were suppressed. But now it's just open, and they think it's okay. You just saw the same thing. The George Floyd situation. The guy sitting on his knee, looking like in the park with his hand in his pocket. He didn't seem concerned about the person as a human being. So I thought that was really huge, and I don't really see a lot of changes up to them, but I think there's going to be changes now because people are seeing it's bigger than the Black Lives Matters, because people are being assaulted by police and things like that, the brutality and those kind of things, and people are more eye opening. It's kind of weird it took all of that to get all these changes. Cause I just saw in today's paper they're changing Uncle Ben's rice, things like that, and Aunt Jemima's syrup, those things that have been kind of racist forever. They're changing the names of it, and even the Sambo's restaurant. I don't know if you ever saw one of those Sambo's restaurants, but that's what Denny's used to be in Camarillo. It used to be a
Mm,
Sambo's restaurant in the 60s and 70s, because I went to high school in Camarillo, so I lived here since 67 in Camarillo.
Yeah. How do you feel about, like, do you think that that's good? That's the step in the right direction to be like changing all these things?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're people are being more sensitive, but I think on the other side of it too, some people are going to get think it's too much, even though it's not. They're looking at they're missing over 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, 400 years of stuff going on, and they think, well, that's just too much. It's always been this the way. Why do we have to change because of this? They're missing a point because like some people actually deny that there's white privilege. Which I find kind of interesting. That they think there's no white privilege. They can go out of their house any day of the week and do whatever they want to do, wherever they want to go. But as an African American, I don't really feel that way because actually in the last week I hadn't really gone out very much. All the things going on. I felt nervous in my neighborhood. Like, well, wait a minute, what if I'm riding my bike in my neighborhood at night? So people say, hey, there's this African American or black guy riding a bike because I'm not familiar with him. That kind of stuff. So I shouldn't even have to think that way. And that's unfortunately, the thought process I have right now about that is kind of making me more homebound than usual. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like when I resonate with that. It's like we shouldn't have these certain kinds of these like programs, these like fears. I remember I got pulled over once for like a taillight,
Mm-hmm.
and I had like fear and like the thought in my head, like if like I could die if this doesn't go out right, just because of
Yeah.
just because of the way I look or whatever it is. And I I I I don't know, like most other people don't like have these thoughts, or like if it's just like people of color, or like I don't know, but it's just it's weird. It's not. It sucks that we have to have that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I just think more people of color have that more fear because I know even like 2 months ago, even my own neighborhood, I live by Locker Park, and so I pulled over because of expired tags. I forgot to pay for it and stuff, but I was concerned then, because it was broad daylight, but the police officer pulled me over and he walked up my car with his hand on his gun. So I was like, are you kidding me? Though I kept my hands on the steering wheel, because I learned to do things like that, and I told him everything. Hey, I got my driver's license here, that kind of stuff. But why would I have to be concerned? I don't want to be, I don't think I'm being a victim of stuff. But I was thinking just how you approach me too, I thought was not typical or average and stuff like that. And I told him I don't have anything on my license. You can check. I don't have any, moving violation or anything else. But he was his demeanor was kind of like more of like, sure you are, that kind of thing,
Yeah,
So,
he approached with his hand like over his gun.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
for an expired tag, so you think, it's not like, this car's stolen or this guy been involved in robbery or something like that. But I've had things over the years, so that's why I have a different viewpoint than other people. Like even back during the high school, because I had, I was walking when I used to work at A&W, where I forgot what location it is now, but I was walking, and 3 cops pulled me over walking and said, hey, you know, some gas station got robbed, and where were you or something like that. I said, I'm just walking to work. They said, well, do you have brothers? And I said, well, yeah, I have 2 other brothers. Well, where are they? Or they're at home in bed. So just that whole process, you can pull over by 3 cars walking, 3 cop cars, like I've been involved in a robbery, not, just the wrong approach that they approach people to. I think they need a lot of sensitivity training. I don't see people approach the same way. And I had
Yeah.
one of my former wrestlers tell me something interesting to show how he's lived in this bubble so long, this camera bubble. He told me because he said he thinks that Black Lives Matter is dumb and all this kind of stuff. He didn't understand it. He said he thinks that African Americans are pushing police buttons on purpose. So I said, so you think George Floyd pushed the police buttons on purpose to get his knee, his neck? Or you think the Albury got shot jogging, because he did something wrong? Or, Breonna Taylor sitting in her house, and the police broke in and shot her 8 times. But what was interesting was, I don't know if you read, but the police reports said she had no injuries.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah, you
make
got to check
sense.
that out.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You have to check that out. The official police report said that she has no injury. She had no injuries.
Okay.
about 8 times monthly. So that's, it's just a cover up. Yeah, it's just
Uh,
frustrating.
yeah, like I don't know. It's difficult to like know like what to believe. Like what like we don't know like how much of the truth the media is giving us,
Hmm.
or like and then we only like receive like certain clips of it like through social media,
Right.
and
Right.
it's like I don't know. It's not. There's a lot of leaks in the system.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's yeah, and I think they're cracking down on it. Putting more pressure on the police brutality. I mean, people are just pulling out videotape after videotapes. Of things that have happened. And I know some police officers are being frustrated because I have a lot of former wrestlers that are police officers though, and they're frustrated. They feel bad. That they're being vilified and things like that, and people are throwing stuff at them. I don't know if you remember Angie Lopez
Yeah.
that wrestled. Yeah, well, she was down during the protests in LA, and she said people were throwing things at them and stuff like that. She's just been a LAPD for like a year. But she says it's just brutal that they're there to protect the people, but people are like assaulting them basically. So it's just unfortunately, there's two sets of groups. That's why I was telling people that the protesters aren't actually doing the burning. There's professional groups that come in and have things to do to get things stirred up. Because if you watch the daytime, it's all peaceful. At nighttime, somehow, all of a sudden, these things are burning. Where this stuff coming from? It's just a whole different climate of people that are doing. And unfortunately, there are professional people that do that.
Yeah. Wait. What do you mean professional people? They go to like rile things up a little more or like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what you do because I saw some things in New York that people brought fuel. People brought wood and things like that. To set fire. Now, why would you have that? I don't know if you've ever been to downtown New York, but there's no
No.
wood anywhere around there. People had ammunition,
Oh.
gas cans, and things like that. You don't take that to a protest. But if you
Mm,
notice, like I said, those things only happen at nighttime, not in daytime. There weren't
yeah.
really any fires like that. And they can videotape, and that's what's interesting too. They can videotape, and a lot of people are on videotape day and night. So unfortunately, people don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I read somebody brought like a grocery cart of just rocks
Oh
to
yeah. Yeah.
like stuff like that. That's stupid like that. I mean, I don't know, like retaliating with more violence or just like I don't know. I don't know. People just I don't know, gonna have like this aggression they gotta let out or what, or they just
Yeah.
want to make things worse or I don't
Well, I think it's a combination of a bad combination of wrong things. People have been locked down because of the pandemic. So this was a chance to get out, and it's a good
know.
cause and everything else. So people just kind of exploded. You can't it's not good psychologically to keep people locked down that long. So people just kind of exploded during all that time. Just get out their aggression, anger at the government and what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It like there was a like a march outside of my house like a week ago or something, and this
Hmm.
was like late at night, maybe like around or not too like 9:30 or something,
Hmm.
and like I saw them like one dude ran in the middle of the street and just like started lighting fireworks. Like every few houses he would light a firework, and then like there
Hmm.
were a bunch of cars and like people marching like behind him, and
Hmm.
it just looked like they were there to like party, like they're like yelling out the
Yeah.
window like whoa yeah, and it's like
Yeah. See that.
it looked like you're having too much fun there, like you guys are you doing this for the I don't know, and then they started like chanting like we can't or I can't breathe
Yeah.
and that but it's like I don't know, it's like it seems like a just like a mob mentality, like they're just there for that feeling or I don't know.
Yeah. That's why I think some people have that. They're not really completely into the cause, but they're just going out doing things like that. They're just doing stuff. Because I know in Atlanta when the Brooks guy got killed, that the Wendy's got set on fire, and people videotaped said, "See, they showed a white woman setting that on fire to say, see, we're letting you know it's not us. We're not starting it." Because the media automatically thinks, look, these black people are starting it, setting this building's on fire. But they videotaped the lady setting it on fire at Wendy's and everything. So some people have that mob mentality. They're not completely behind everything, but they've been involved in it. Chanting. It's more like you said, like party scene for some people.
Yeah, yeah. It's just this is the weird situation. I like the way you put it, just like a bad combination of bad things or something to that effect.
Hmm. Yeah.
So um what have you like the way that I heard it put is like it's always been happening as far as like just like racist things, but now it's just being recorded and like being put out there.
Right.
I think like people are having this kind of like reality check, like because it's kind of easy to like, you know, like turn off the TV if it comes on the news or something, but
Hmm.
now that it's kind of grown to this where it's hard to be avoided, that's bringing more awareness to it.
Yeah, I think so. And then some celebrities too, like Jay Farrell brought up his. I don't know if you heard about his incident in L.A.
No.
He's a comedian that was on SNL. I guess he was jogging and he got pulled over, but he was misidentified. He thought he was involved in some robbery, and they made him get down on the ground at gunpoint.
What the heck?
I know. And he told the police officer, "You can Google me. You can see who I am. I'm not the person you're talking about. You're looking for," and stuff. So those kind of things are kind of this bringing things that the police overall need to revamp what they're doing.
Yeah, that sensitivity training.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because even that situation in Atlanta, that could have been diffused, like they were saying. They talked to the guy for 30 minutes, and the guy was talking just like you and I are talking. And he said, yeah, he had a couple of drinks and all these kind of things. I could just leave my car here. You guys could follow me to my sister's house. She lives 2 blocks away, but then it turned into, a bad situation. He was unarmed and things like that. So, that's what's frustrating, that things could have been handled differently and stuff. I think, there needs to be more psychological training of some of the police officers. Just the videos, tapes I've seen, stuff. People tell me I need to quit watching them because I just saw one just recently too of a guy got pulled over for smoking weed in his car. The guy was fine. He said he was smoking weed. They're handcuffing him, things like that, and talking to him. But people on the street were yelling at the cops, "Leave him alone. Let him smoke his weed." And then this guy said, "This cop, I'll kick your what?" And the cop said, "What? You'll do what?" And he just ran over and started beating up the guy. The police officer did. So you could hear, because they had their body cams on, saying, "What can we arrest him for?" He said, "Well, he doesn't have a mask on. We'll get him for violation of a mask." It's just like I'm saying, they're breaking the rules and they're bending the rules, and they're just, some guys are just, some of the police officers are on the edge, and people are on the edge. It's like two wrong things going on. So
Yeah.
confusing. Yeah.
And then just to like I don't know, think about it like the police perspective. It's like, yeah, they're on edge, like they don't know who is like, like kind of ready to blow up, especially like during this time, and just kind of like take
Hmm.
it out on a police officer. So but it
Right.
sucks that they like some police are responding with like extra force or like extra
Exactly.
aggression.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what's kind of tough too, because I know even locally, I always wonder too when I see someone gets pulled over, even in a small town like Camarillo. One person gets pulled over, and then all of a sudden you'll see a couple of cop cars come. It's like, why do they have to have so many for just a traffic stop? Like, I don't get that. Why two or three
Yeah.
police officers have to be there for a police
Yeah.
for a single stop violation? I'm like, wow, that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
It's weird how that happens. Like one somehow in like 5 minutes turns into like four.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
so what do you? I don't know. What do you do? You think like we're getting better as a society, or we'll be able to get better with everything? Or I don't think it's hard to predict the future, but what are your thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
I think it's getting better because more things are exposed now, and people are starting to understand and get more sensitivity to things. Like I said, changing the names of brands of things that have been racial for hundreds of years, and all of a sudden they're just like, "Whoa, wait a minute, that's not right." Which I find kind of funny too. That they're, all of a sudden it's just all these things are snowballing. Snowballing, and like, okay, this isn't right. Let's change this. Let's change that. Which is good. Which it's a starting point. I think they need more dialogue, because I always tell people that are white that I know. It said, if you can't name more than 5 people of color, Mexican American or black, that then that's a problem in our society. It's our
Mm,
society. So just 5. They don't have to all be the same nationality. It could be Hispanic, Chinese, African American, Mexican, whatever. But if you can't name 5, then that's a problem. Because you need to
yeah.
get out and
What
interact.
so it's important to just have these different like cultures around you? Is that like what you're saying? Like, or it's important
Yeah,
to
I think
have these
so.
different? Yeah.
Yeah, because that was actually the way I was raised, though, because I was actually born in the South, and my dad joined the Air Force,
Oh
and
yeah.
then we moved, and we've always lived in integrated neighborhoods, like when we lived in, because I moved to Ohio from Louisiana, and we've always lived in an integrated neighborhood. Then we moved to Wyoming, integrated neighborhood. We've always lived in, Indians, Mexican Americans, and blacks, whites, everybody lived together and went to school the same way too. which I found funny. But when we moved to California, believe it or not, the first time I heard the N word was when I was 14 years old. I was at a, I was at a swing, sat down at, just because we used to live in military housing, down at Cape Art down there. And I was just by myself, and I was just swinging and swinging, and some guy drives by in a car, hey, N, he called me the word, and I was like, what was that? What is that? Why is he calling me that? So I went home, told my mom I was all upset, like, the guy called me this, and, so,
Yeah.
so it's kind of weird. I guess I was sheltered in some ways from the real world, because then it starts kicking in. And '68 was really bad with the riots and everything else. So '68 kind of reflects what's going on in right now, a world. So
Yeah.
if you ever see anything about 1968, 2020 is exactly the same,
Yeah. What do you like? What do you mean? How is it like a reflection like that?
Well, the rioting, the protests. The only thing is that black people aren't getting hosed by the police, with fire hoses, things like that. But the protesting against the government, those kind of things that are going on, and you know, uh, different things going on in the world. The war, the Vietnam War was going on. People protesting the war. So there's a lot of things that are similar.
Yeah.
They're similar in some ways. The unrest in the country. The country is not settled. And what's tough is that nobody seems to want to step up and take the leadership, or people are afraid to tell the leader something, because everybody bows down to. He says, I've never heard him say a single thing about this whole unrest that's going on, which I find kind of funny. And everybody's been waiting and waiting. But, you've heard things from President Obama, George Bush, Clinton, Carter, all those former presidents said something. He's never said anything. He's just talking about a rally he's going to have this Saturday, which I find funny because he's having it in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is where the Greenwood massacre, Black massacre occurred. In
Yeah.
1921. I'm like, God, are you kidding me? What are you thinking? So that's his first rally he's going to have. He's just not. They don't think of the unrest, and that's not a good place to have a rally. To start a rally.
Yeah.
All
Oh
things going
man.
on.
Like in my mind, I tried to like imagine like a best case scenario. It's like we're here to like remember what happened, but also to like build a new like better future kind of thing. Like
Right.
let's make this like a place of peace now. But yeah, but it's charged. It's a charged situation and charged
Mm-hmm.
location.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I know I read some groups. I forgot. I think the LGBTQ community bought a bunch of the tickets. I guess the tickets were reserved. I mean, you could get them online, but they reserved a bunch, but they're not going to go because they want to make it like an empty. Because he claims that 90,000 people want to see him. And I don't know if any arena anybody's seen 90,000 people. But that's what he thinks. But they're buying all these. They're getting all these seats because they're free, and they're reserving them, but they're blocking it out. So, and they'll plan on going.
That's a strategy.
Yeah, that's right. So spreading the strategy just to send him a message, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of a good question. It's really good to hear like your thoughts on this, just as a like you have a very like unique perspective on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's important to like have that integrated, like to be exposed like in an integrated neighborhood like that. And
Right.
I'm grateful for that too.
Right.
Just like being around, like white, Latin, Black people, Asian people. And that's definitely like opened my eyes just to see how like different people think and to see like how different people live. And it sucks that people don't like if they stay in that bubble, then like when something else happens, it's I don't know, it's like almost like a threat, or it could be taken as a threat.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
So I wanted to, is it cool if we change gears? I want to ask a little bit about your coaching.
Sure. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So how did you first get into teaching and coaching?
I actually got into wrestling first. My brothers got me into it when I was very young. Yeah. And then I wrestled in junior high in another state. And then when I came out here, when we moved to California because of military, I wrestled in high school and everything there. So then, I was just going to college and I couldn't, I'm like the typical person that's graduated from high school. Well, let's see, what do I do? I don't know what to do. So then, I went to JC first because I had some college scholarships to go, out of high school to wrestle, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So then, I eventually got a teaching credential because I really liked working with young people, and I found that was my, my, I guess my cross the bear in life, working with them. So that was part of the reason I did it. I actually started at Oxnard High School.
Yeah.
First. Yeah.
That's tight. That's like what about like teaching young people like did it for you or does it for you?
Giving them a voice, because the things I've found over the years that kids have told me things that they've never told their parents, and sometimes I have to tell them, hey, you need to tell your parents this, you shouldn't be telling me this, things like things that are wrong in their life or the way they feel. Some kids are suicidal, things like that. Well, I usually try to get them help if they're suicidal, but things that they don't talk to their parents about, because they think their parents don't listen. So I give them kind of a voice to, that a person listens and cares about them, because some are surprised that, that some teachers do care and some coaches do care, because some teachers, it's okay to say this, 'cause I'm not teaching now. Some teachers actually don't care about students. They just care about the 3 months out in the summer. They don't care, like, like I know a situation once where a kid's mom had died, and it was right before Christmas break, and the teacher said, well, I feel bad for you, but you still need to get this assignment in. Instead of being sympathetic or understanding, saying, do what you got to do, so some teachers are like that, but, I've always believed in young people, because I see that that's a future. So that's why I always have a conversation, like at wrestling practices. I always try to make sure I have a contact with every single person, even if we got 50, 60 people or whatever. I try to make sure I have contact with every single person, know who they are, because later on, it's important, because I can make their whole day, because I've had some students say that some teachers don't even know their names, and it's like after half a semester or something like that, they don't know their names, which I always find interesting that they don't.
Yeah, I definitely, that's one of the things that like I appreciate and respect about you. Like that's what, like the first impression. I remember like walking into your classroom, like asking like if I could join the wrestling team.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so cool. Like I don't know how else to put it. Like just like your attitude towards everything. Like, oh yeah, like show up on this day. And then I was like, oh, like I can't make it that day, and then I'll just show up the next day. And it's like, well, okay, like, and for whatever reason, like it really had a like that impact on me. So thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you wanna start wrapping this up, or do you want to keep going?
Yeah, I gotta wrap it up pretty soon here.
Okay. So thank you, Coach, for taking the time to talk to me, and
Oh yeah,
this is important for people to hear. Yeah. Is there anything anything else you wanna let the people know? Maybe like a positive message or like something for the leadership, or I don't know.
Just reach out to people. Don't make it like a token wave, because that was one of the things I found interesting too. After all this, when I finally went out, had some people waving at me, which I thought was kind of weird. People I don't even know. They're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I was like, "That's no, that's not okay." It's more like a sympathy type of wave. Say like I acknowledge you. Like even yesterday, I went somewhere with my daughter to a restaurant to pick up something. We were in a car, at a drive-through pickup, and people were walk by and they're like, "Hey, how are you?" I was like, that's not okay. Just be the same. Just be yourself. Just be yourself, and reach out to other people. Extend other people, because everybody needs help. Everybody's hurting right now. So that the more you can do to help other people is very important. I think reaching out, just simple, saying hi on a normal basis. Not just something just because all this stuff's going on, but see someone in the street. Hey, how are you doing? That could uplift someone's day. That's very important.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Well said.
Thank
All right,
you.
Coach. Let's end this now. Thanks again.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No problem. Anytime.
Awesome. Cool. Well, have a great rest of your day.
Okay, you too. Take care. Bye-bye.